Hello, my friends. Assalamu alaikum. Let's talk about our true self, that is, soul today. How about dealing with the following question? That is, how to purify ourselves. I mean, how to purify the soul. My friends, to begin with, we must understand that, like a beautiful garden, our souls need to be free of all kinds of wasteful things or negativity. I mean, negative traits like anger and lust, etc. That is how we can begin the process of becoming pure and beautiful. My friends, to attain this noble objective, we must strive to see no evil, to hear no evil, and do no evil. My friends, remembrance of God plays a very important role in this process. Consistent and constant remembrance of God purifies the soul. It helps us to shed negativity and become pure beings. My friends, serving our fellow beings is another key element that is very helpful in this regard. My friends, service should be performed with joy and dedication, without any selfish motives. We must also remain vigilant of distractions or storms of illusions like wealth or pride, which pull us away from our spiritual focus. We must resist them to remain on the path of purity. My friends, we must embrace God as the only source of support, and for that purpose, we must focus on His teachings and guidance. My friends, our constant effort to achieve purity will help us in maintaining a higher state of pure existence, a kind of angelic state. My friends, when we succeed in this objective, we will become like fragrant flowers representing purity, beauty, and positive influence. Now, let's look at some of the teachings from Quran which emphasize the importance of attaining purity and help us in achieving this noble objective, which is in fact the purpose of our existence. My friends, the first verse is from chapter 91, verses 9 and 10. In these verses, Quran emphasizes the importance of purifying one's soul. Quran states, "He has succeeded who purifies it, and he has failed who instills it with corruption." My friends, in verse 222 of chapter 2, Allah says, "Indeed, Allah loves those who are constantly repentant and loves those who purify themselves." My friends, remembrance of Allah cleanses and uplifts the soul, preventing distractions and worldly attachments. In chapter 13, verse 28, Allah says, "Unquestionably, by the remembrance of Allah, hearts are assured." In verse 14 of chapter 20, Allah says, "And establish prayer for my remembrance." My friends, the Quran encourages serving others and reminds believers that sincere and selfless actions are loved by Allah. In chapter 28, verse 77, Allah states, "And be good as Allah has been good to you. In chapter 5, verse 2, Allah says, help one another in acts of righteousness and piety. My friends, the Quran describes distractions and illusions, that is, wealth and pride, as trials and warns believers to remain vigilant. In verse 32 of chapter 6, Allah says, and the worldly life is not but amusement and diversion, but the home of the hereafter is best for those who fear Allah. My friends, sincerity in worship and hidden efforts to purify one's soul are valued in Quran. Allah sees all efforts, even those done in secrecy. For example, in chapter 2, verse 197, Allah says, and whatever good you do, Allah knows it. In another verse, that is, verse 55 of chapter 17, Allah says, and your Lord is most knowing of whoever is in the heavens and the earth. My friends, Quran emphasizes reliance on Allah alone. For example, in chapter 25, verse 58, Allah says, and rely upon the ever-living who does not die, and exalt Allah with His praise. My friends, Quran emphasizes the importance of maintaining a balanced and stable state through prayer and worship. For example, in chapter 2, verse 153, Allah says, seek help through patience and prayer. My friends, in another verse, that is, verse 195 of chapter 2, Quran emphasizes compassion, kindness, and the spreading of good. Translation of the verse is, and do good. Indeed, Allah loves the doers of good. My friends, all these teachings of the Quran are meant to help us achieve purity. And it is this purity which will result in success on the day of judgment. My friends, I will close my talk now, and I hope you enjoyed this and found it beneficial. See you soon again. Assalamu alaikum.